guys, happy fall and welcome to the second episode of the Principal Podcast. I am Liz Rayburn. I am the proud principal of Bryan County Middle High School and coming to you this month to really focus and think about your new staff, your new teachers. We call that at Bryan County Middle High School the new teacher hustle. So we're going to spend some time thinking about that today and talking about some really great tips and strategies that will help you as you begin to get into your classrooms more often now that we're about a month into school, or a little more than a month, 6 weeks, and can really start supporting your teachers for ultimately the best instruction. I do want to take a minute though and remind you that your challenge last month was to focus on you are the lead learner of your school, right? You're the principal. And so we talked a lot about your brand. We talked about your actionable steps to November 1st, right? You want to have that elevator speech. We talked about your culture and climate, and we talked about the 10,000 conversations that here at Bryan County Middle School, we are hyper-focused on. The 10,000 conversations is how we build relationships with our kids, with our staff, with everybody here. And having those conversations, fierce conversations, equal great, fierce relationships, right? So we talk a lot about that here. And I really wanted to bring you back because your goal was to pick one thing in that silo and to really think about what it was or what it is that you can do to really stay focused on this year. So is it your climate and culture? Is it the 10,000 conversations? Is it your brand? Because ultimately the $1 million question, and I have it on my board over here, is what makes a great day at our school? And if you keep that in mind, and that's in your focus with all the work that you do, it's really going to pay dividends for you. So wanted to just do a quick review on what we talked about last month, just to keep it fresh in your brain. I think that's really important. And now let's dive in to the new teacher hustle. So all of us have spent a ton of time on hiring. It's really, honestly, Todd Whitaker tells us it is the most important thing you do as a principal is hire a great teacher, right? If you hire that great teacher, you find that jam up teacher, then you know that you can rest your head well at night because they are going to be jam up for your scholars at your school, right? So now that we've got them here, we want to keep them. We want to grow them. We want to support them. And so a couple things that I think are really imperative and important that we try to do here at Bryan County Middle School for our new teachers is we do a pop-in every month. So I do a new teacher, new staff pop-in, and this is not for just brand new teachers, right? This is for veteran teachers who maybe are new to your campus. So we've got several teachers this year who are coming back after doing other things in education. And so they're included in that new teacher hustle. And our principal pop-ins, as sometimes we call them, I have popcorn. They're after school. They're 20 minutes. They're no agenda. They're literally just having conversation, talking together as a group. So I think that is really important that you establish some type of routine, you as the principal with your new staff. Now, as the year goes on, it's definitely something that you can delegate to your assistant principals or to your other support staff. But I think, at least for the first semester, you need to be really intentional and really dialed into developing and building those relationships with your new staff. Another really important thing, I know you probably have a mentoring program. We have one in Bryan County. It's called Bryan Builds, and it's at the district has the whole entity, and then schools can kind of run it as it fits for each individual school, which is great. I think another key component is to making sure, because our mentoring program is really just for those 0 to 3 years, I think it's critical that, again, you get your new teachers who maybe have taught longer in another place, but they're new to your campus. they need to have some type of mentoring. So they understand what's the dress code, where's the copy machine, where can I get a soda, where can I get a snack, those kinds of things. So I think that's really important that you set something up with your staff so you can make sure that you've got your mentors for your brand new teachers, but then you also have your mentors or your buddies or your hallway buddies, content buddies for your staff who are veteran experience but need to have that support as they are new teachers in your building, right? So 2 really quick things that you can kind of consider and think about doing. At my first new teacher or my principal pop-in that I had 5 different things that I really wanted to review with our new teachers on campus. And I'm going to share this infographic with you as part of the podcast. So make sure you get that and you can edit it and change it up to use it for you. But I call it the new teacher hustle. And the 5 things that are most important in that new teacher hustle is number 1, you must believe. It's a moral imperative. You need to radiate it, right? These students, our scholars, need to believe that every single scholar in our schoolhouse can achieve, and every single scholar in our schoolhouse is set for success. They can sniff us out, right? They know what we really are thinking. So we need to radiate that idea of we believe in you, we love you. That's number 1. Number 2 is your impressions matter. So like we're 6 weeks into school now. So I like to say first impressions matter, but you need to keep that drive and that tenacity and that perseverance and that energy and that enthusiasm. That needs to go on and on and on and on and on. So whatever your building hours are, ours are 8 to 4. From 8 to 4, I say you need to be on 10, right? And that's another moral imperative. That's our second thing that we focus on in our principal pop-in is that we need our staff to always be on it like they're making that first impression, because our students know, and then you get new students all the time and they need to know. And you definitely want to make sure that the impression that you set and that vibe and energy that you give off is consistent and it's always on 10. So really important that we do that. Your frame of mind. That's the third thing we talk about with our new teachers in our building is that your frame of mind. It really, really matters. And who you surround yourself with, that's the 4th one, also really matters, right? So we talk about learning to avoid the 2% and making sure that you're positive and you're excited for the start of every day, and that when things do get challenging or things get in the way, that you really are intentional about who you are talking to. You're intentional about who you're hanging around with, because you need to learn to avoid the 2%. Every building has them. Every job has them. We know that there's the negative walnuts, whatever you want to call them, from the walnut tree. We all have them. So think about who your new staff and teachers are surrounded by. Consider their room placement. Consider their teammates. Think about who they are gathering up with. Who do you see them associating with in those first couple months of school? And help them understand that they have to learn how to navigate and avoid the energy vampires, the 2% that are going to suck the life right out of them and make them not love teaching, right? So really critical that you help guide them and get them connected and hooked into the positive people that are really out for our scholars and really out to make a difference in the world, right? And the last thing is obviously building relationships. And how do you do that? 10,000 conversations. So make sure that you are continuing to push the message that the best and only way to build relationships is by 10,000 conversations. That's with adults and that's with students. Just today, we have a really challenging freshman student here, and he's a tough one for us. And I make a point to every day have a conversation with him that literally has nothing to do with school. Today, he told me that Eric Church isn't real country music, right? We had a 15-minute dialogue about country music because I am working hard to connect with him, to build a relationship with him so he can ultimately be successful. It is those small deposits that we make every single day to our staff and to our scholars that are truly going to pay dividends for us. So 5 things: must believe, Your first impression matters. You need to be on 10 for your scholars, for your schoolhouse all the time. Your frame of mind, positive, excited, and energy, excited. Avoid the 2%. We all have bad days, but we don't want to be sucked into the energy vampires that really suck the life out of us. So think about who you're surrounding yourself around and who are you surrounding your jam up around or teachers around. And then always 10,000 conversations, building relationships. So hopefully, you'll take a look at the rest of your semester and you'll think about when you can build these new teacher pop-ins, principal pop-ins, popsicles with the principal. You can do any kind of acronym or word to get people in. I always find, obviously, if you have snacks, people like to come. I don't make them mandatory. I definitely make them optional. And I let the teachers and the staff drive the dialogue. So we really try hard not to talk business in the sense of academics or achievement, but really talking about kids, relationships, things like that, things that they can do in their everyday work that's going to make an immediate impact. Those are the things that we like to talk about. Just really good conversation. And it's part of that building relationship for you too. So you're going to find that it's going to go a long way. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this month's Principal Podcast. I love visiting you. I hope that I can come to your schools and see all the great work that we are all doing. This is awesome work, but it's hard work. So please make sure, remember last month we talked about the 7-1-1. That is 7 hours of sleep, 1 day a week you leave when the kids leave, and 1 weekend, Saturday or Sunday, you do no schoolwork. Are you committed to that? I hope you are. And I hope you do a new teacher pop in. And if you do, I would love to hear about it. Thanks guys. See you next month.